shut down everyone's videos and everyone's audio. Yeah, let's
So
let's
you
be sure
will
about
introduce me and all that, right? Vaibhav?
yeah, everything. Yeah, Kamalji. For sure. Praveen is there, by the way. He's my co-host. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are live.
Oh, thank you for somebody wishing me happy birthday. Yeah.
Is your birthday as well today, Kamalji?
Today is my birthday. Today is my 70th.
Oh, excellent. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You did not even tell me when I was planning. This is a sudden surprise. Yeah.
Somebody knew, so he sent
No.
message.
No.
And,
Great.
Yeah. August of 1945 was a fateful month, I was born that month. We had 2 atom bombs, over Japan, August 3rd and August 9th. And then we had, Japan surrender, and I was born. 1945.
Yeah.
So should we start?
Yeah, let's wait like for 2 minutes more because still I see a lot of participants are joining.
The numbers are growing. It's like 49 now. I think 50. You already touched half a century.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Rajiv. Yeah. Nice to see you. Yeah. There are 60 people showing on my side. Yeah, Rajiv is my batchmate from 1967. Yeah, he's online.
I think this is kind of a great day and everyone is excited both for your talk and obviously about your birthday as well. So I think it's already 3 minutes. I think Jijo will enter the remaining people who are still entering, and meanwhile I will formally begin. So yeah, so I'll begin. Jijo, it's already live, right?
Yes, you're live now.
Yeah, great. All right. So I'm Vaibhav. I'm the lead of strategy, a startup and entrepreneurship, special interest group of IIT Bombay Alumni Association, and we started this concept of the Entrepreneurship Gyan just 2 months back, and we had our inaugural lecture just last month, and this is the second lecture in that series. And obviously Kamalji is here in front of us, and all of you already know him, although I will later invite Praveen ji to introduce. But just to again just to give a little bit about TEG or TEG, how I envisioned was like a more like a podcast kind of a thing. But then later I got to know that there is already an existing SIG of which ITBA, within ITBA, which Praveen ji was already taking care of. And then I thought, maybe I could join, and I pitched in this idea particularly, and he liked it, and we thought that okay, we would just go forward with it. So the idea here is that there is some practice work, there is an academic work. We can bring together that collaboration via talks, via mentorship, via giving some kind of support to the young entrepreneurs. So this is kind of a global platform. Not just we won't be just having some sessions, some talks and lectures, but also we would we will try to sooner we'll try to come up with kind of a more of a mentorship oriented kind of a program that we are already kind of thinking of, and hopefully in the near future we would have it. But it's not it's a platform to just create or support a vibrant exchange of entrepreneurial Gyan, which that is why it is named as the Entrepreneurship Gyan. And what we envision is that the young entrepreneurs get all the support that all the ventures, all the existing we have entrepreneurs like Kanwalji, who is already there between us, and we had Ramananji, for example. In fact, we have Praveenji as well. So all these veterans can share their expertise. So we young entrepreneurs can have their learnings, but also we can also see that how we can continue with this thought process in the future. So that's the kind of the broad idea. And for the larger concept, you can always look at that TEG concept, which I will share with you soon. Now I will invite Praveenji, who is outgoing board member of IITB Alumni Association, who is also taking care, by the way, of all the SIG, which IIT Bombay Alumni Association has, and obviously this startup and entrepreneurship SIG as well. So I would invite him to formally introduce Kanwalji, and then we will move forward. Yeah, to you, Praveenji.
Point is, Kanwalji needs no introduction. He just needs no introduction. Everyone knows him, but yet this is a formal thing because we are live streaming it. So those of you that are not part of the ITB system, or those of you that have not been in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, or probably those of you who want to know a bit about Kanwalji, here is some introduction to him. 1967 electrical engineering graduate. Please correct me, sir, if I'm wrong. And now here is the introduction. Kanwalji co-founded Excellent in Silicon Valley to commercialize Ethernet and TCP/IP standards, which became the basis of Internet. He took Excellent public in 1987, becoming the first Indo-American founder and CEO to list a venture-backed company on the NASDAQ. Kanwalji was also CEO of Ensem and CEO of Cybermedia, both companies in which he was initially a lead investor, venture investor, and board member. So Kanwalji is a well-known figure in the global Indian community and a widely recognized authority on entrepreneurship. He co-founded the Indus Entrepreneurs TIE, as we know it, to promote Indian entrepreneurship, and was TIE president through the late 90s, presiding over its growth into a global organization with over 10,000 members who have been behind Silicon Valley and Indian startups. Kanwalji also co-founded Inventus, where he works closely with entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley and in India, as he has since 1995, to apply his full time and energy to helping them accomplish great results. He is also very active in Indian public policy related to venture. He has advised Indian government policymakers in reforming venture regulations, and he has also successfully advised the Indian Prime Minister and his government on their aggressive deregulation of telecom industry, laying the foundation for the country's impressive IT expansion. He has founded Kanwal Rekhi Schools of Information Technology, CRESIT, we know that, right? Both at IIT Bombay and Michigan Tech. And he serves as an advisory board member for various organizations, including Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research and Rand Center for Asia Pacific Policy. The point here is we can go on a long introduction of Mr. Rekhi. This can go on for the length of this discussion. This was a very short introduction to him. Excellent personality, excellent achiever, someone who is very, very accomplished, someone all of us know. We have seen that CRESIT building in IIT Bombay, and so we have the CRESIT founder here today talking about entrepreneurship. And I'm a big follower of Kanwal Rekhi ji on his LinkedIn. I mean, I read his posts quite a lot. Very incisive, very nice, very sharp insights that he offers. And his insights are always completely different from what a normal entrepreneur would give. He's always like, don't do this. He has an avuncular, what you call writing style, don't do this. This is not right. And when we had this conversation, what should he speak on? Because he's an expert on entrepreneurship. What should he speak on? He said, yeah, wait. He talks what we shouldn't do. And let us go and tell him that, please, sir, please talk about what entrepreneurs shouldn't do. Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs in this group, youngsters in this group who will be listening to him today. They would love to know what they shouldn't do. Everyone knows what to do, but what they shouldn't do is what Kanwal Rekhi ji would speak on today. Sir, on to you.
Well, thank you, Praveen. So, but that was very generous introduction. But let me tell you, my self-image. I was the luckiest person to be at the right place at the right time. And when I left IIT, I probably was the least known, member of the batch, and probably was least likely to succeed as a person. And very unknown secret, I was not the IIT Bombay first division. I had second division, in my final year. So it's sort of not much confidence, but and I in my early career I got laid off 3 times. 1960, 1970, 71, 3 jobs, bang, I got laid off. And that sort of toughened me up. Jobs are not forever. Jobs are not something that you can rely on. They are simple economic arrangement. Eventually you have to become a master of your own destiny. And I told myself that nobody will ever lay me off ever again, back in 1972. And nobody has ever done that since then. Entrepreneurship is the ultimate self-expression. It's taking matters in your own hand and you're making it happen. So I start by saying that this is a personal tapasya, is a personal journey, and you are, it's a very lonely journey. You're on your own. So I tell people that this is not something random, something which you do because your friends are doing. This is something which has to come from deep from inside. My first advice is don't do it with your family and friends. You have to be very objective, very harsh on yourself. Anytime you have friends and family involved, you lose your objectivity. You make concessions, you make allowances. Right? So you cannot make allowances for lack of performance on your own part or any of the member of your own team. It's a very rough journey, very little margin of error, very scarce resources. So you need to become, that's my first advice. Don't do it with your family and friends. Find the best partners, especially the partners who are somewhat divergent thinker from you, and somewhat divergent skill set. If you are an engineer, find somebody who is marketing guy. Don't get somebody who thinks just like you, and then you get into group think, and you need a 3-dimensional approach to the world. And so you need people who are not white like you, and have same skill set. The second thing I tell people is that don't expect any respect or any support from anybody. As a matter of fact, your family and friends will think you're a fool. You're giving up a secure, nice job, with a steady salary and all that. It takes a while before you make it happen. So those 3-4 years, you don't get, and you shouldn't expect any support, mental, emotional, from family and friends. Maybe your wife will support you, but your wives have trouble, because they have to suffer with you, and wives have to, why are we doing it? Why can't you be like everybody else and be a steady person, get a job, have a paycheck? Why do we, not do what other people do? Go to a movie, So so you have to have this inner strength, and so those are the two starting points. But I also tell people that don't fall in love with your idea. The ideas have to stand the test of time. You cannot be emotional about it. You have to affirm them by doing your research. The idea which is good today may not be good tomorrow. Markets are very dynamic. They're always changing. Technology is very dynamic. It's always changing. So you have to reaffirm your faith every day. Am I still on the right track with the right idea? based upon what happened in the marketplace yesterday. So people who fall in love with their ideas, they go down with their ideas because the ideas are always evolving. And so you need to do your market research. Don't be ideological about things. And never fight the market. Never fight the market. Market is a collective wisdom of millions of people out there. That doesn't mean that you don't mold or try to shape the market. But it's like riding a wave. You ride the wave, you don't fight the wave. You ride the markets, you don't fight the markets. So I want to tell you that this is not something for everybody. Only 1 to 2% of the people at large succeed as an entrepreneurs. It's a very poor set of arts, and you get very little moral and emotional support from your circle. So it has to come from very deep inside you. And but if you do succeed, your rewards are plentiful. You're set for life. I was set for life at the age of 45. When the company went public in 1987, I was only 45. I'm sorry, I was only 42. And I stopped working as a full-time person in 1995. And I was only 50 or so. So yes, and I've been pursuing my dreams. I had time and wealth and health, to do the things I did. That Praveen mentioned earlier, and it's a very satisfying thing to do. But odds are very low. Odds are very low. So here is the secret. If you decide to become an entrepreneur, and no more than 10% of the population ever does that. 90% of people don't even try. So you already are a part of the group, which is selected, you're self-selected. And if you are able to sustain that fire against the hardship that you experience for about a year, your odds improve another tenfold. You become a part of that, that 1 to 2% that needs to be there to succeed. But that 1 year, the initial 1 year is very hard, very hard journey. Nothing works. Nobody wants to believe in you. Nobody's giving you the money. So you have to sustain your faith. So I come back to things. Do it intellectually rather than emotionally. Do it with your head rather than with your heart. No family and friends. No allowances made for family and friends, and no tolerance for lack of performance. Don't fall in love with your ideas. Always evolve based upon what you have seen. Believe your eyes and ears, what you see in the marketplace, and good things will happen. So maybe I should leave at that one. Praveen, how are we going to handle the Q&A? But I don't want to speak. I want to engage with the people and see what they want to hear. So can you tell us how?
We have more than 120 members here. I am hoping that some of them will raise their hands and ask questions. So I think that would be a nice way to go ahead with this conversation. Vaibhav?
That would be all right.
So
anyone,
maybe one of you just can start the ball rolling. Maybe Rajiv, can you get the ball rolling? I don't like to speak. I want to address the issues that people have.
Kanwal, first of all, thank you for sharing your wisdom at a high level. I mean, really, I think you're absolutely right. Entrepreneurs require different sets of skill than trying to make a career in a big corporation, which is what I did. And I think the idea of learning to be yourself and not looking for support in early years, being bold, and I mean, they're just spot on. I think, I'm just listening to you and learning myself as well. So, one of the questions I have is, if you were to advise somebody who has an idea, what is the best way for them to get started? You know, I mean, there is a path forward. There are more venture capitalists. You have to sell your idea. But what are some of the key things one has to think about in order to get support for your idea?
Okay. So let me give you a very harsh answer. The idea is a dime a dozen. Everybody has an idea, you know, and everybody thinks their ideas are great,
Yep.
you know, and unique, you know. So I get very, I am busy. Yeah, people are bombarding me with ideas all the time. So my starting point is no, yeah, get lost. Yeah, because every idea that somebody presents to me as a new, I have heard 20 other entrepreneurs giving me the same pitch over last few weeks, few months. So you have to become a little bit creative. I hate the ideas. I am the Uber of this, and I am the Facebook of that. So anybody who starts to present himself as a new avatar of some new fad, you want to throw them out, because you want the ideas which are unique. They are not a day late and dollar short type of ideas, and so and you need to have this, what I define as a intended target market, size of the market that you're going after. So I like the ideas where the person starts by saying that here's the problem I see out there, and here's the solution that I think this market needs. The things which are outside in, rather than here's the technology I have developed, here's the thing I have done, and I want to find a way to sell it. I want to find a market. So I absolutely detest the ideas which are inside out. You need to come to me by identifying a market need, a market hole, and tell me why is that there, why the others don't see it, why you are the what's your unique insight here, and what is your unique capability to address that issue. So the ideas have to have the home they're going to find, and of course the size of the market. By the way, the ideas emerge very rapidly when the markets are changing. Markets are changing, and markets are changing because of technology, because of various other things. In a static market, the big guys will always have the advantage. In a dynamic changing markets, entrepreneurs have a huge advantage because they have no inertia. Because they can rapidly change, and adapt to the new things. The big guys, the companies, corporations have resources, inertia, and they can't move fast enough. So I like the ideas, which are based upon the market reality rather than the technology that you are developing. And and there's a change that is taking place in the marketplace, and somewhat counterintuitive. Also, you want to be where the hockey puck is going to be rather than where the hockey puck is right now. It takes a year or two to execute. So you need to find a wave and try and say, this is where it's going to be, and I'm going to intercept it here, year out, 2 years out. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, So Jayan Sardeshmukh is asking, how do you distinguish between faith in your idea and not being in love with it?
There's a little bit of an art. There's a little bit of an art, because you need to. I mentioned you need to define the market need, and why the need is there or will be there, right? And why that and so there's a dynamic nature to the whole thing, right? But when the person starts to really tell me more, getting nuts and bolts of technology, he's going to his comfort zone. His comfort zone is technology. You need to have people who are stepping out of their comfort zone, trying to explain to me why this thing world need this thing, why the others are not seeing it, what is that he brings to the party? That is so unique. I don't know if I have more precise answer than that, but anytime you're not able to see the other. Oh, by the way, any and all ideas that you have, you should assume that 10 people as smart as you or smarter than you have the same idea. Because you don't have what I would call the really unique insight. Everybody's seen at the same problem. So it not only becomes the idea itself, is the execution becomes the biggest part. Can you assemble the team? Can you secure the financing? Can you really execute? So like I said before, the idea is a dime a dozen. It's the whole package. That makes you a winner. All right, next one.
So there is another question now from Kaustubh Patekar. He says, how do you regroup and restart after more than one failure? How do you deal with self-doubt?
So absolute failures are absolute part of the process. And I don't consider a failure a bad thing. Failures are learning experiences. Failures are required. If you're playing close to the edge, you're gonna fall over the edge. It's like trying to learn to ride a horse. You're gonna fall. You're gonna fall. And you get back on the horse. And this is the thing I said earlier. It's a personal tapasya. You're not gonna let anything deter you. You're gonna make it happen. And failure. But so by the way, so let me tell you, another way of thinking. You need to own your failures. You need to own your faults. You should start by saying that I am not perfect. I'm going to have issues. So how do I account for them? How do I made the point that you find people who are complementary to you. If you're an engineer, you find a marketing guy as your partner. You identify your shortcomings and trying to fill those holes. So the failures happen because you have blind spots. Something bites you from the left field, and because you didn't see it coming, right? So and you learn. One or two failures, your senses get much sharper. You become very, very much aware of potential failures. A successful entrepreneur outclass others. The others are failing and dropping out, and he's going to stay in the game and outlast the others.
All right. So Gyan is asking, how do you deal with friction or conflict between founding team members?
Friction and
Conflict.
It's very good. It's very good because that's how you perfect your ideas. If you have a group think, everybody thinks alike, everybody likes everybody, you're going to have not this three-dimensional picture. What you need is respect for each team member. You have to have respect for others' perspective. If somebody has a different perspective, you have to accept that and try to understand why. Argue at intellectual level. Argue at intellectual level, not at a personal level. The person thinks differently because he has a different perspective, he has a different experience base. And so you have to assume, it's valid, and maybe my perspective, my experience is not the right one. Maybe I should adapt. So there's a give and take. It's like a marriage. There's a give and take. If you try to assert control and leadership, you don't have the team fall apart. Very quickly. This is a team sport. You are a leader. Everybody should have a right to speak. Everybody should have a right to express their opinion, their perspective, and you develop a collective model that everybody says, okay, we have taken everybody's stuff into account, and this is what we're going to do until we see something change. So this is a plan of the day, agenda for our business, and this is what we are executing on unless something changes and we have to change our plan. So, so you're managing, you have smart people. You have to incentivize them, you have to motivate them, and so this whole thing, is a leadership issue. Entrepreneurs are good leaders.
That's a very good point here.
Hmm.
So there is another question here. Is there a concept that an idea is stupid? It is not high-tech enough, or otherwise it will not find funding. This is what GS Rao asks you.
There's no such thing as a stupid idea if it works in the marketplace. My approach to the whole thing is, the ideas have to stand the test of time. Of course, if your idea needs a validation by others, then you are not a sovereign entrepreneur. You don't have to make it happen. If you believe in it, you passionately believe in it, you see the market for it, you have done all your thinking, ignore everybody else and make it happen. I see it all the time. And I should tell you, I was stupid enough to reject some of the ideas which I didn't understand. When the social media was happening in 2001, 2002, I couldn't believe this didn't make any sense. There were people who were pitching to me, and I wasn't smart enough to figure out. Just to tell you a story about the Hotmail. When Samir Bhatia presented to me Hotmail idea, free mail for everybody, it was costing a lot of money, and there was no revenue and there's no potential of revenue. And he pitched to me, and I said, Samir, this thing is a sure way to get poor. How we don't make money? See, it tells me that if we have 10 million users, this will be worth a lot. But 10 million users is not cost us a couple of $1 million to get there. He says, yeah. So I didn't support him even initially, but then I started to think through it. Okay, I'll engage with him. But by that time, he was getting 60,000 new users a day, and he had 10 million users, and Microsoft bought him for $4 million. And that's when I realized, an asset has no inherent value. Asset has a value in the context. Microsoft, Samir had nothing to upsell to these 10 million users, but Microsoft did. Microsoft was had spent $2 billion and had this MSNet, which had close to 1 million users, and they could buy from Samir 10 million users for $4 million, $40 per user versus $2,000 per user. So asset and idea has a context around it. So entrepreneurs are able to see that one. Samir was able to see it that I was not able to see it until much later. So so I don't consider that you should believe. It's all comes from inside. By the way, Samir's VCs had told him, no, if he had not done bought by Microsoft, he would have had to shut down.
Yeah, I think in academia, Kamalji, we call it as disruptive innovation. And now it has become a whole lot, different area of study by both academicians and practitioners. So
Samir invented a thing called viral marketing, right? And he also, we now all understand that if you end up having 10 million users behind an idea, there's a way to monetize that. One way or the other. If you're not able to monetize yourself, somebody else is able to monetize it, right?
Yeah. So another question is from Lakshmikant Nanda, and he's asking, as a young one in career, what to do if we have multiple ideas where we have risk of being where we have a risk of failure, also not from a business family. So that is the kind
so most of the entrepreneurs I know are not from business families. My family background is military. My father was in the army. My two elder brothers were in the army. So family background of not being in the business is not not an issue. So let me tell you about the ideas, multiple ideas. Entrepreneurship is like learning to ride a horse. Yeah, entrepreneur is the jockey, the horse is the market and technology, whatever you want to talk. Yeah, horse throws you. Yeah, it's very, it's tough to learn to ride a horse, but you eventually learn to ride. Yeah, the horse starts to understand you, and you start to understand horse, and everything works. When you have multiple ideas, you're learning to ride multiple horses at the same time. Yeah. It's not twice as hard, it's 1,000 times as hard. Yeah. Every idea, every market has its own dynamics, its own economics, its own cost structure. Yeah, and you as an entrepreneur who is not experienced businessman is trying to learn all that while he's trying to make it happen. Yeah, so multiple ideas are, in my opinion, sure way to fail. Sure way to fail. Pick an idea, make it happen. Yeah, and so when you grow up with the multiple ideas, if you read my post, I use the word yaffos, yet another freaking opportunity. You chase yaffos, you fail. You like I said earlier, you pick an idea. This is the plan of the day. This is what I'm going to execute based upon what I know, what I have studied, what I believe in market, what I believe. Unless something changes, you don't want to change your plan because there's a lot of waste of resources that you have invested in when you change the plan. And also, by the way, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence anyway, right? So so when you start to look at the other people's idea, you start chasing yaffos. So if you have multiple ideas, you're not ready to be an entrepreneur.
I think that is spot on what not to do as an entrepreneur. I think that is what people have been
Yes.
waiting for.
Yes.
Yeah. Please go ahead, Praveen. Yeah.
So the next question is like someone is trying to, I mean, probably this is a young chap. He's trying to find out your views on a different business segment, business industry. He asked, what are your views on the climate solution space? Probably he has some solutions there. So what are your views on the climate solution space, and do you know of any subsection that you feel is promising?
So I am very, very hard-nosed entrepreneur. Climate problem is not the problem that me as an entrepreneur can solve. The entrepreneurship of the modern type thrives to provide a solution to the market, which is expanding rapidly, right? So the climate is a too big a problem for an entrepreneur, to be addressing. That's a problem at the government level and all that. I as a person don't want to be distracted by social needs or societal needs. I want to solve this one problem successfully to that I see in the marketplace, and if I want to be in philanthropy, save the world, either I need to make tons of money that I can spend, or I need to do starve and don't do it, right? To me, entrepreneurship is a very narrowly focused problem solving situation, and climate problem is too big a problem for an entrepreneur to take on. I think my view of the entrepreneurship and the job creation, wealth creation is a goodness by itself. You don't create wealth and jobs in society, you're doing a lot of good.
All right. So there is another question by Mukesh, and he's asking how to balance between selling and building in early days. Customers ask for solution and expertise between talking, and you need to talk to customers before building.
So selling is all about selling. It's all about selling. You want to build what customer wants to buy. You don't want to. It's much easier to sell to the customer what he wants to buy than to sell, push what you have they may not need to buy. So if you have customers who are telling you, hey, I need this from you, you should rearrange your priorities. unless you see a bigger market and you see a bigger region, and then you're willing to take the bigger risk. So a good entrepreneur is always listening. What his customers are telling him, what you think customer might need, might prioritize, may not be what customer really needs and prioritizes. One of the problems with engineers as entrepreneurs is they think this feature is great. Customers have zero value for that feature. You need to find out. You need to understand. You need to hear. You need to give customer what he wants rather than what you think he wants. So selling is the number one priority. Always be selling. Always be delivering what customer wants. Always be prioritizing what customer needs.
So there is very interesting question from Afzal Modak. He says Reliance Retail is not a new idea. So a few $1 billion and build $100 billion company, and it really works well. So are the odds in favor of the rich? The odds in favor of the rich?
Odds are not in favor of the rich. If that was the case, then you will never have these entrepreneurs emerge anywhere. People like me emerge anywhere. So the reason the big companies are not able to do it. So I gave you the condition. The markets are always changing and dynamic, right? So that says the people who have inertia, rich people have inertia. They cannot move fast enough. They cannot move fast. If you are a company, you have customers, you have an inventory, you have factories. You cannot respond to changes in the marketplace rapidly. An entrepreneur who has no inertia whatsoever can jump on an opportunity and by the way, upset the apple cart that other person owns. So the entrepreneurs, what they bring to the party is very, very much fast response, absolutely focused response to a single problem, and they don't have anything to worry about upsetting their own apple cart, right? So coming back to another point I want to make, the skills that you need to build a $50 million company are different than the skills you need to build a $5 billion company from 50 million. You need to be an entrepreneur, impulsive, rapidly moving, innovative, disruptive, to build a new company. You need to be a manager, preserver, listening to the customers, evolver, to build a large company. The distribution is a slow process. Innovation is a fast process. So at some level, entrepreneurs should hand the company over to a manager or bring a manager in as a partner, because you don't want to disrupt your own business, $50 million business, by being innovative all the time. Innovation is instability at some level, right? You want to be, but there's nothing to be unstable about when you have nothing. But when you have $50 million business, you start to have the assets, you start to have inertia. You cannot be disruptive that you are as a raw entrepreneur. So to build a large company, this is one of the other points I made. You need both. You need dynamic, innovative, disruptive entrepreneurs. You need stable, evolutionary, managers. One provides stability in the environment, large scale distribution, large scale manufacturing, and the other provide dynamism in the environment, to make sure that you're keeping up with the technology and the new ideas. And societies need both. America has it. If you become Japan, too much managerial, less innovative, you're in trouble. Germany is in trouble as a result. But if you become too innovative, like Nigerians, you are in trouble too. Very unstable setup. So people ask me, who are better, managers or entrepreneurs? I say, neither. Society needs them both. They both have a purpose to serve.
All right. So Sarthak is asking how to think about entering a market where you have no prior experience.
I entered a market where I had no experience whatsoever. I was a hardcore engineer. In 270s, hardcore digital engineer. Doing CPU designs, doing logic designs. So coming into 80s, computers are becoming, pervasive. Mainframes that I worked on, many computers that I worked on, all of a sudden, you have this personal computer, PC, Apple, that I had not worked on yet. But you could see this hodgepodge of machines, and very nice stable environment of mainframes, where everybody knew what same thing, same software into multi city of mini computers. I started to think, hey, my company has all these machines, and there's a pain in trying to change it, move data from here to there to there. It was a big effort to get your PC data into your mini computer or into your mainframe. And it started to become very clear to me that, hey, the world would need networking. I had no networking background. I had no communications background. But once I decided that world needs it, it was just a matter of me agitating myself, and we stood only a few months. So, and then I hired people in the areas where, I didn't have expertise. And, so the point I made earlier, you assemble a team. A team has as a batsman, as a wicketkeeper, as a bowler, a fielder. So you don't assemble a team. Entrepreneurial teams are just like that.
So there is one interesting question from a professor. I think Pradeep Vaishal is a professor. He says, as a teacher, how do I identify potential in a student for becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, the guy who's always asking you, silly questions. So let me tell you, and this is a little bit of lighthearted note. The top students become professors, researchers, R&D people. They don't do their PhD. The second-year students, they're a little bit more serious. They become managers. They become CEOs. And the third-year students like me, I was a third-year student at IIT. We are restless. We looked up to the top students. And Arun Netrawali was God when I was at IIT Bombay. And he became God, head of the Bell Labs, and all that. But I was very restless. I was going to have my mark on the world. And so when the IBM PC got announced, I saw an opportunity of world being turned upside down, and it would need to be connected. And I jumped at it to become an entrepreneur. So there's no way a professor can identify a person like me, as a potential entrepreneur. But my thing is, as you specialize more, as you become more and more into PhDs and all that, your scope narrows. You go deeper in a given domain. Entrepreneurs are very broad thinkers. They are not specialists in one thing. They are jacks of a lot of trades. The biggest skill you need to become an entrepreneur is salesmanship. And top students are a little awkward in selling. So the biggest skill you need is to sell yourself. A person has to sell himself to give up the comforts of life, sell family and friends, spouses to suffer with him, sell to potential employees to come and work for him for less salary than they are making right now, with less stable environment, then sell the investors to give him money for his half-baked ideas, and then sell the customers to buy his half-baked products before they're ready. So the biggest skill that you need is salesmanship. And I'm sure most professors will have trouble identifying that one.
True, very true. So,
Right.
Sri
I mean,
Hari,
does it make sense or no?
to me, it makes sense. I think it's the same with Pravinji as well, right? Yeah. So Sri Hari is asking, what if we have a working MVP? What should be our approach in raising funds?
What in MVP? Yeah, so that means you have identified the market, you have the viable product, right? Then you need a story. Then you need a story. From MVP to successful business, it's execution, right? So so by the way, the VC model requires a rapid adoption in the marketplace of what you have. And so you have to build a story around a rapidly evolving market requiring this product that I have developed. And here's the marketing approach that I will use to very quickly move the product, right? So there's a storytelling, that's which is part of self-selling, storytelling that entrepreneurs have to develop, a viable, believable story. And by the way, the entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs and VCs have a very different relationship, than the others. The entrepreneurs are dreamers, and VCs are dream merchants. So you have to sell your dream to the dream merchants. They have to connect at that level. If a VC starts to believe in your dream, then you have a shared dream to make it happen. And all this other stuff is nonsense about VCs. VCs eventually have to get into in tune with the. So let me tell you my story again. So when I was out selling in 1982, John Bosch, the VC who invested in my company, he loved the idea that I had. He immediately bought into me this notion of all these computers will be connecting to each other. And he had to overcome the idea of an Indian entrepreneur, because there had not been any Indian entrepreneurs that he had seen before, because there weren't any. But he loved everything about what I was telling him, and so eventually he said, no, well, there haven't been any Indian entrepreneurs, and I don't know why. Maybe it's time to try one. So he loved the idea. So he tried one, and he lived to tell the story to the world. John Bosch will tell he invented Indian entrepreneurs in the valley. He made 100 times his money. So there's this idea of being able to tell your story as a plausible, that. And by the way, here's another secret. It's much easier to sell a story than reality. Reality is never as pretty. Reality is never as pretty. Your story, you can paint a very nice picture. And you can sell a nice picture. Reality, when you do and tell the guy, I have a customer, I have this, I tried, he'll say, show me, get me 2 more customers. Show me this, some more products. So when you start to sell reality, they want to see more of it. When you tell a story, sell a dream, a painted picture, it's much easier to sell. It's very counterintuitive, right?
This is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting, actually. And I think there is a startupper here, Deepak Tanap, either a startupper or I'm assuming that he's a startupper. And this question is pretty much linked to what you have just said. He has limited resources initially, and as a startupper, you have limited resources initially. So he says, what are the factors I need to consider to strategize and prioritize to ensure that I don't get overwhelmed with too many things?
The name of the game is to sell that dream and then have a shared dream, have that VC investor that invested in your dream emotionally, and then financial investments will follow. If he has to invest in reality, then he needs to have a lot more due diligence, a lot more real stuff before he parts with his money. So it's become much harder to raise money if you have been at it for 2, 3, 4 years than when you're just starting out. You need to package yourself as a believable with your idea as a believable product, and sell that. Here's a market that you identified. Here's the solution that you have, and it only needs money, to make it happen.
All right.
But
So
for every, there's no one formula. There's a combination of a person, the market, the idea, the team, and the investor, and the different, combinations work. So I don't tell anybody there's a formulaic approach that works.
Yeah, great. So Sunay is asking comparison of the last few startup years to the .com bubble.
So the marketplace is open looped. And that's very good. You do, have your silly ideas, you make it happen. The eventually, like everything else, the story of America, how the West was won. Initially you have pioneers. They go out and they discovered things. The Lewis and Clark. And then you have initially you have explorers who go out. Then you have pioneers, who go and set up a thing, and then comes the settlers, who come and settle, and then come the exploiters, and that happens in the marketplace. You have pioneers, with the new ideas, and then you have, explorers, but marketplace is very, very, a good way to decide. It lets things happen, and eventually things are out of control. The exploiters come in, and they start doing silly stuff, and the market lowers the boom very quickly. And this is what happened, in .com. There was a notion of .com that all the old-fashioned asset-based businesses is nonsense. This is a new economy just driven by ideas alone. No inertia whatsoever. No friction. And the same thing is happening in India. People get their fingers burnt. They get smarter. Expectations of valuations become more reasonable, and which is what's happening in India right now, right? And then there's a progress. But the system is open looped. And the memories are short. Another cycle will. Every wave runs, eventually brings you back to the beach. No wave goes forever. I compare the entrepreneurship to surfing on the beach. You paddle out hard to catch a wave, but it always brings you back to the beach. So
there is a very interesting question. This is very close to my heart as an entrepreneur myself. I make lots of mistakes and then I cope very soon. That is my way of coping. I mean, getting over with problems. I have clients that also face a lot of problems and they fail, and some clients actually cope very fast, some don't. Okay. So the next question is from Kaushal Rajora. He says, what are your biggest failures or mistakes and how did you cope with them?
Oh,
That's a good one.
I don't want to disclose all my dirty secrets, but I have failed very often. And like I said earlier, every failure is a learning experience. Every failure is a learning. You have to accept. But if you're failing all the time and not ever succeeding, then you have to look in the mirror. The entrepreneurship, when you're playing close to the edge, is a dangerous game. You don't step over the edge. You don't fall. And nobody has the monopoly on smarts. Technology is too big and too complex. Economy is too big and too complex. I saw things late. The wisdom that I acquired is from learning from my failures. Yeah. I should have invested in Hotmail. I knew, very early, he came and pissed me very early. Social media, wave I missed. And in the beginning, I did well, later. But everything is a learning experience. And by the way, the point I made earlier, it's a rapidly changing world. And unless you tell me the world will start changing tomorrow, it's going to be rapidly changing the world for foreseeable future. Opportunities are not be there left and right. The fact that you failed yesterday doesn't mean that you will fail tomorrow. And the fact that you succeeded yesterday doesn't mean that you will succeed tomorrow. So, so there is a combination of everything. And one thing that I forgot to mention earlier that we all need to succeed is luck. You can do everything right. You still have to have Lady Luck smile at you. If she decides to spit in your face, your history, no matter how good you are. So luck is an element, which is an element of randomness, which is there. And you overcome all that by doing multiple times. It's like learning to ride a horse. You fall down, you get back on the horse, you fall down, you get back on the horse. But after 10 times you fall down, then you say, maybe it's not for me.
All right. So Lalit is asking, what are your thoughts on staying in the US versus going back and building in India?
This nationalism part is a nonsense part, right? We built India. They built India from here. The Indian brand got built by Indians in Silicon Valley. The Indian brand was built by people like me, people like Rajiv, who became CEO of Roman House. There was this notion, hey, are there more like you in India? So this whole brand building that happened, this idea of telecom revolution, would have never happened. I spent huge amount of time spending chasing down, and talking to Prime Minister, and finally given him, the idea, and he said, "Let's do it," and that changed India. So the notion that you have to be in India to change India, build India, is a nonsense notion. We are free people. I have no direction to be in India anymore. All my family is here. All my brothers, sisters, my mother, they're all here. But my direction to India is emotional. I think of India as a noble experiment, a very noble experiment. A country that poor, that illiterate, that diverse, chose to become a democracy and sustain it for 76 years. It's a noble experiment. It's finally adopted the market economy, not fully, but substantially adopted market economy and started to produce the results. Americans are no smarter than us, and they don't work any harder than us, but they have the democracy and the market matched. India had a democracy and a socialism. That doesn't work. Didn't work. Now it's starting to work because they have a market, right? I wish they have more belief in market. India needs 10 million entrepreneurs. The ideas that we have brought to India, have had a substantial impact. The notion that you have to be there, it's jingoism, nationalism, they are the last views of rascals.
This is the classic Kanwal Rekhi speaking. It's like your LinkedIn post is coming out alive in this comment. And this is precisely what I personally love. I mean, kind of incisiveness that you have. I mean, perfect. Okay, so there is another question almost linked to this. Technopreneurs in India, they always feel that we are not doing enough for the global markets. So Sarthak in
Again, nonsense, right?
Yeah.
We start worrying about, we are not doing enough of technology. We're not doing enough R&D. I remember, the IT services techno coolies. Remember that word? The IT service guys, we're not doing any product design. We're doing, give me a break. $250 billion, $300 billion marketplace created by entrepreneurs with almost no resources in their hand, right? Implying 5, 6, 7, 8 million people. So, I think as long as you create jobs and wealth, it doesn't matter, how you got there. The emotional speech, we are not into deep R&D. We are not doing pure. It's time for India to absorb knowledge and technology and make it happen. The debate between Sam Pitroda and me that took place in the 80s, Sam was in favor of developing our own technology for telecom, CDOT, blah, blah, blah. He spent $10 billion. And I was saying, why can't we adopt the technology which is out there, proven, cheap, and make it provide services in India? Eventually, I won that debate. Sam and I had a debate in Chicago. He says, one man, one telephone is a wasteful Western luxury that India can ill afford. So what do we have now in India? Wasteful Western luxury. So the adopting technology and knowledge and making it happen now is the need of the day. Eventually, when enough wealth is created, people have surplus capital, surplus time, they will do the other stuff. But that's not going to make a big difference, the life of people. To make the life of people, the telecom has revolutionized India. And we didn't develop that technology. We adopted that very quickly. We let the entrepreneurs do it, right? So the notion that you have to do this other stuff, it's just about chest thumping. What we need to do is to provide the entrepreneurs a playing field so they solve the problems that they see in the marketplace, they create the jobs and wealth. India's problem is poverty. How do we remove poverty? We create more wealth in India. So what we need to do is we need to open this farm sector, agriculture sector to entrepreneurship. We need to have entrepreneurs do, make the market function in that environment. The Indian farm sector is stuck in the mud, because the government controls almost everything. So the notion, that we need to do in latest technology is nonsense notion. We have the, our need is very different. You see what China did. China didn't invent any other stuff, and they became a powerful country by absorbing the knowledge and technology from other places.
You've just not talked about the farm sector, right? There is one question from Jasveer Singh, who is working on IoT agri-tech startup. He says, we have seen in India, pre-revenue startups don't get funded easily. Only a very few startups are able to get that based on.
This is a town playing in every area, because the entrepreneurs, VCs are like sheep. We need a goat. We need a goat which will find, and the sheep will follow. So if somebody needs to prove there were no Indians being funded in America, and now Indians are being funded everywhere in India, in America. You got to prove. So you can't be complaining too much, right? Just make it happen. That's the thing about entrepreneurs. They make it happen with very little. So we can complain all day. The idea that then you're externalizing the responsibility, you're blaming others for your own failures. I said you have to own your failure. You have to own it and make it happen in spite of all the hard times. That's what the entrepreneurs do. They overcome all the hardships. So
Right.
we need to have entrepreneurs go prove it that there's and the whole California is saying there's a gold in them dark hills, there's a gold in them dark fields in India. Hey, I can. By the way, Shula, the guy who went and did the Shula wines, right?
In 1 year.
Vineyards. He went from here. He went from the. He had an idea. He got the stuff from France, and he has made a big business out of that, right?
I think apart from wine, I think the tourism also is very popular there. A lot of people do
tourism,
visit and enjoy.
So I think India needs to. India has in spite of all the good climate, due to water situation, it needs to move up the value chain. California had 0 almonds and 0 pistachio when I first arrived here. California produces about 80% of world's almonds and 80% of world's pistachio now. Do you guys know that? And there are Indian farmers in the California Central Valley who are very big, rich farmers. Peach business in California is controlled by Indians. Most of the vegetable business in Central Valley is controlled by Indians, Punjabi farmers. So why can't enable them to go back to Punjab, in those foothills, create, Punjab and California, climates are very similar. So it's in the notion, I do believe that government is a problem, right? But we are a democracy. We have the government we want. Let's get back to the entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So just I think because you have already just mentioned that entrepreneurs should overcome challenges. So there is already a question. So asking from you that what was the toughest challenge you have overcome, and how did you address it basically? Yeah, the toughest one. Yeah.
My toughest challenge was a lack of confidence. I did not speak English well. I went to a Hindi medium school in India. I went to IIT and I didn't speak English well. I came to America and I didn't speak English well. So I kept quiet, and not speaking English well translates into seen as not a smart person. But once I started to see that I was smarter when I started to see I was smarter than anybody around me, I went and hired a speech teacher to improve my speech. When I went to NASDAQ, when I became a CEO on the NASDAQ, I had to talk to the financial people. I had a speech teacher. I will rehearse my speech with her, before I go out. So I identified the problem I had, and I overcame. By the way, for 2 years in a row, on the Wall Street, I was voted as a best sports person for any company by all the analysts put together in a survey, which was very strange for me because I had speech problems. But I spoke the truth, and the analysts loved it. So I think every problem, every shortcoming, every challenge that you have is a good thing. It gives you motivation. It should motivate you.
Yes.
Eventually, you have to say, I have to do it. I have to make it happen. And the alternative is to accept defeat.
Wonderful,
Right.
Wonderful point made. Very nice point made here. There is this Tejas Shetty who has a very sharp question, a very pointed question to you. Like, how would one start a deep tech company like an alternative space launch company? I don't know. I mean, if that you would want to answer that. How would one start a deep tech company like an alternative space launch company other than rockets in India? What special care must be taken to avoid the potential pitfalls?
Well, so this is now a specific industry with a specific technology requiring specific insights into that one, which I don't have, right? So my thing is that if you think there's a market out there for this specific,
Unknown caller.
That's my phone. If you think there's a specific market out there for these things, you have some deep insights, and everything has the same dynamic. You need to develop your story and dream, and then you need to go find a dream merchant, to help you fund it, right? And the reason the VCs, by the way, I should tell you, the venture capital is a play money. It's not the savings, that you have for your children's education or your daughter's wedding. This is a surplus capital, that you want to go play, and you want to achieve extraordinary results. you're not going to be happy with 10% return. You want to have 100 times return of your capital. So you are willing to take the risk. So the dream merchants are out there trying to do this big game hunting, and you need to position yourself as, hey, if I was to succeed, this would give you 1,000x return. So you need to develop a story. You need to develop your skills to tell a story with a straight face. That's the other part of it. You need to be able to tell a story with a straight face and become a believable person. That is the secret of being a successful entrepreneur. That you become, and like I told you, you're always selling, and in a very convincing fashion. So I don't know how to answer the specific issue about what are the specific problems in that. But space, now India is being seen as a very space savvy, has found a frugal way of doing things, can do wonders with small capital. That should be a good basis of building a story to go sell a space startup. Position yourself as one of those ISRO engineers who did this wonderful magic with very little money.
Yeah.
Right.
So the next question is from Ajinkya, and he's asking where to look for a business partner and how to assess if he or she is the right one to move ahead with.
It's like same as a life partner. So you will know when things click. I married an American girl 52 years ago. She was a pen pal. This is a story for the Times. I'm at IIT Bombay. I see an ad in Times of India, find a pen pal in America. I fill up the form. At New York World Fair, Potter Pen Pavilion has a pavilion. Find the pen pals all over the world. This girl fills up a form at New York World Fair. We got matched because we have the same birth date. I come to US. 2 years later, we meet. 2 weeks later, I propose. We get married 52 years ago. So there's a little bit of luck, a little bit of chutzpah, and all that. Finding a partner, the things I made earlier, divergent skills, divergent perspective, somebody who adds to your, thing, somebody complements, the things that you don't have, right? And a relationship of trust, absolute relationship of trust and respect. Those are the basis of forming a good entrepreneurial partners.
Your story is very good. During those days, you did not have social media. So, and still you could manage to do all those things, right?
Yeah.
So there is a question from Shrey Modi. He is not talking about social media. He says, what is your take on social media sector now? How are social media startups doing against big guns like Instagram?
So social media, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, on the LinkedIn, right? Just tell you, some of my posts on LinkedIn have 500,000 or 1 million readers, views, which is sort of amazing, right? If I get less than $50,000, I say, oops, that was not very good. So social media is a way to reach a broad set of people in a shallow fashion, right? The internet itself, let's start with the internet. Internet was a many-to-many communication in a very inexpensive fashion, right? And social media is a layer above that one. So Facebook, somewhere along the line, lost its way. I don't know what Facebook is trying to achieve, but LinkedIn, I find it very, very good. It's a way to be a very influential at the same time, well connected to a large number of people, and Yeah, it's a very easy way to get your masses. If you have an idea that resonates with people, on a given average day, I get about 100 new people who become just follow me on LinkedIn. On average, 100 easily. Because somebody forwarded my message to them, it resonates, right? It's a good way to do marketing, selling.
So I guess you got your answer here. You got your answers here. Vaibhav, would you want to take the next question, or should I continue with? I find a wonderful question here. This question keeps coming from all new startups. This question is from Deepak Kumar. He says, "Is it easier to copy an existing idea and make money right along with the wave, or just start with a fresh idea?"
So most of the startups are incremental. The way it works, if you're an engineer, you see a hole in a solution out there. Microsoft has this application, and this hole is there. I can plug in that hole, very quickly, right? So most of the ideas are very simple, incremental, and easy to do, right? The big new audacious ideas that require market building require a huge amount of money, AI, or the iPhone, they require massive investments. Entrepreneurs are not able to do those. But what happens is once you get with an idea out there, with a customer, you start to get the insights. Once you're inside a customer, you start to get more insights as to what else he needs. What else can I do incrementally from where I am? So that's how the business is expanding. I need to find that initial entree into the marketplace. But the new ideas, brand new way of doing things, several years of investments, are much riskier and much harder to do, and not as necessary, I would say. But also, you don't want to do a me too and a day late. You need to find holes in the solutions that are already out there, are a evolutionary better way of doing things, than others have done. And of course, there's this change of this technology. It went from desktop to cloud. I mean, it's so we're doing the same thing in a new environment, new changing technology environment. Change is required for entrepreneurs to succeed, because change obsoletes what's out there and needs to be replaced with new stuff. And that's what entrepreneurs do best.
Yeah, there is another question that last decade was quoted as cheap capital era. How do you see things changing for startups and VCs going ahead?
The cheap capital era typically is very bad for everybody, including entrepreneurs. It's bad for everybody because it starts to give a false sense of security. It cultivates wasteful habits, and does things, frivolous things that have no value. When the capital is scarce, that's when the creative juices flow, and the creative people, in the other hand, rather than the hucksters. So like I said, the system is open looped. Some few bit hits, few new unicorns, and the race starts all over again, right?
So
But I am
yeah,
I am a strong believer in honest, capital efficient, startups. I have trouble, with people, who, I mean, I know Vijay Shekhar. I've known him since 2002, when I first went to visit a company called 197 or one thing like that. It's been 20 years. He hasn't made money yet, but he's super rich, right? I consider him as a huckster.
Good to know, Kawalji. And we have almost just 5 minutes remaining. And I am particularly interested both in entrepreneurship but also policy and public policy specifically. And I see that you have been there, advising startups and government as a policymaker. So this is kind of
I had the access to Prime Minister Vaibhav.
Yeah.
He liked me, so I would go see him every few months. But
Yeah,
I have
so-
no access to the current people. Yeah, but by the way, I do not like the term setup policy. I think there has to be a lot more faith in Indians and Indian entrepreneurship than there is right now. Indians are just about the best entrepreneurs. The Indian experience of diversity, large complex market prepares you really well. And we just need to have faith and let it happen. Let it happen in India. Let open up the capital from all over the world to come to support Indian entrepreneurs in India. The current policy framework is discouraging the foreign capital to flow into India. It is very hard to invest in India. Very hard. I'm talking about they shut down the Mauritius route, which was really, really good. It is. I don't know who's thinking all that. India needs 10 million entrepreneurs, 1% of the population. So policy framework should be, how do we enable 10 million entrepreneurship and provide them the capital so they can do things that they think need to be done to transform India. India will be transformed from bottom up, not from top down. Too large and too complex a marketplace.
Yeah. Good to know, Kawalji. In fact, because I'm deeply interested in that, so I thought of asking it. I didn't see any policy questions in the set of questions, so I just thought of asking the same.
I
think,
I think we need to have faith in market. What is market? Market is a collective wisdom of people. The market is same as democracy. In democracy, you vote for candidate A or candidate B. In marketplace, you vote with your rupees for product A or product B, a service A or service B. It's all about choices. It's a collective, so marketplace is a collective choice of masses. You have to have a faith in market. And socialism, it says, no, you can only buy one type of car, you can only buy one type of service. It's wasteful to do two different things, right? So socialism keeps you poor. Marketplace, is where you create wealth.
So I think we'll take one more question and then
Vaibhav.
Yeah.
No,
So
Praveen,
I
please
have-
go ahead.
Yeah. There is a very interesting question here, right? From Raja Agarwal. Raja Agarwal probably works for Microsoft, if I'm not wrong, based out of Dubai. So he says, earlier you said, I was set for life at 50. How did you know that? Weren't you already set at 45, 40? I want to understand how you drew the line to stop.
I didn't stop
Very
ever.
interesting.
I'm 78 and I work full time even now. I have never stopped working. I said I didn't need to work. I didn't need to work for money to live ever again. When we went public in 1987. I had enough money to live forever. But I have never stopped working. I have done over 200 startups. Where I'm either investor or founder or over 200 startups I have been involved with. I have been mentored, maybe over 10,000 entrepreneurs. I still mentor 2-3 entrepreneurs, 4 entrepreneurs a week. And of course I've been engaged on the policy front in the US and in India. So everybody needs to feel productive and needs to be paid in the capital in the currency they appreciate. It may not be money. I don't need to be paid in money but I still need to be paid to feel emotionally productive and satisfied, right? So it's not an issue of I was set for life in the sense. It doesn't mean that I will stop working and become idle and do nothing. And I travel more than anybody else.
No, probably he meant, probably Raja Agrawal meant that financially, I mean, you are completely, you are set for life. So, yeah.
Yeah, set for life financially, yeah. Yeah, but I didn't have as ambitious a financial goals as Bill Gates did or Jeff Bezos did, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think,
folks, we will end this conversation here. Before we go, obviously, Vaibhav is going to talk a bit. But what I want to tell you guys here is today is Kanwalji's birthday and also his spouse's birthday today, right, sir?
Yes.
oh,
So happy
excellent.
birthday so happy birthday to Kanwalji and his spouse. I would be very happy if all of us can wish him either in the message box or Vaibhav, whichever way you would want to take it.
No. I've already given, if your questions are unanswered, I've already given you the, link where you can post your questions. And Kanwalji is pretty active on LinkedIn, and, whenever he gets time or, if he finds the question interesting enough and he has time, probably, slowly he will answer them, whenever he has time. So I think that would be all right, Kanwalji, right? Yeah.
I had in Bombay the tempo high.
Good to hear. Good to hear that. Lingo Kanwalji. So I think in the last just last 1 minute, I'll take just last 1 minute, although the time is already over. So I would like to thank you a lot, Kanwalji, for your precious time. It was great, and everyone loved it. And obviously, we are all who are ITians are always thankful to you how you have been supporting IT Bombay. But still you keep that tempo high and keep supporting all the young entrepreneurs, which is really excellent and motivational especially for young entrepreneurs like me. Thanks a lot for your time, Kanwalji.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you everyone for attending.
I said happy birthday. So that was what I was saying. Happy birthday once again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, true.